The 10 most common regrets. This is probably one of the most important videos you'll find on this channel. This video is based on a collection of testimonials from terminally ill and elderly people who are experiencing their last years of life, collected from several online sources. One of these sources is Bronnie Ware, an Australian nurse who's been dealing with terminally ill patients for years and has also written a book entitled The 5 Biggest Regrets of the Dying. The first 5 points of this video will be precisely those described by Bronnie Ware, while the following 5 are additional points taken from other sources. Let's begin. Number 1. I wish I had the courage to live a life for myself, not the life that others expected of me. This appears to be the most common regret of all. When people realize that their life is coming to an end, it's easy to notice how many dreams have remained unfulfilled. People look back and find they haven't achieved even a fraction of their dreams. Abandoning one's dreams for fear of disappointing the expectations of others is the most common complaint when it comes to regrets later in life. People are shaped by their culture or family's values, which drive their decision-making. But this too often leads people to follow in their family's footsteps and not treading their own path. Listen to the advice of those who love you and those who have more experience, but always remember to be what you want to be and not what others want you to be. The final decision is always yours. Life is yours, and you only have one shot. Number 2. I wish I had worked less. Having worked too much at the expense of spending less time with the people you love most, having missed the most important moments of the growth of a child and the company of your partner, in order to chase your job and career are among the biggest regrets felt by dying patients. According to Ware, this regret is particularly noticeable among male patients. Some women also mention this regret, but not nearly as frequently. This is most likely due to the fact that, in most cases, these women belonged to a previous generation in which many of the female patients had not been the family's main source of income. Let's not forget that it was only a few decades ago that women have been given the opportunity to build a career on an equal ground with men. Love and spend time with the people you care about most. This is the best way to fully experience your happiness and that of your loved ones. Number 3. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Many people suppress their feelings to maintain peace with others. Many others are simply afraid to open up, fearing potential repercussions. As a result, these people adapt to a mediocre existence in which they often fail to get what they want, and in more extreme cases, they develop diseases related to the bitterness and resentment they feel. There's nothing more beautiful than expressing your feelings, yet why don't you do it more often? Why do people hold back when instead they could experience unique sensations? Ask the guy or gal you like to meet up today, and don't risk regretting this for the rest of your life. The worst thing that can happen to you is that he or she says no, and if that happens, it's not the end of the world. At least you won't live forever with doubt of what could have been. Number 4. I wish I had kept in touch with my friends. We often take our dearest friends for granted, and I'm guilty of this too, and I'm certainly not proud of it. We think that our friends will always be there for us, and we don't dedicate the appropriate time and attention to them. Bronnie Ware explained how often people on the verge of death regretted not keeping in touch with old friends and often made one last effort to contact them in their last weeks of life when it was no longer possible to trace them. Many were so busy with their lives that they let friendships fade away over the years. Nowadays, we can use social networks like Facebook to keep in touch with our closest friends, even though we can't see them in person. And thanks to social media, we can easily track down old friendships that we thought were lost. We should make sure we don't have the same regrets as the previous generations and should take advantage of these resources, trying to meet our closest friends again in person as soon as possible. This is supposed to be the main function of social networks like Facebook, even though this changed a bit in the most recent years. Number 5. I wish I had been happier. As trivial as it may sound, this point is surprisingly common. Many of the patients surveyed stated that they didn't realize until the end that happiness is a choice, and they got stuck in old patterns and habits. The fear of change made them live by pretending with others and with themselves to be happy. Don't be afraid to change, adapt, and live greatly. The highest level of happiness occurs a few times in the course of one's life, and it's therefore important to fully enjoy those moments. Number 6. not taking risks. Sometimes in life, you need to know how to take risks, even if this means to risk losing what is safe in order to aspire to something bigger. This point is directly connected to the first point of this video. The difference between what those who love you want and what you want is that those who love you want you to be safe and have a risk-free life, while you want to be satisfied with your life, and this often involves taking risks. What the people who love you often don't understand is that not taking these risks and settling for a modest life for many can be a form of torture. Don't be afraid. Number 7. Holding a grudge against someone, especially if it's someone you loved. You often notice it too late, but if you love a person, you can't forgive him or her for whatever they've done. In one way or another, there must always be a meeting point. Holding a grudge against people you love is a stupid thing to do, often held by people who consider themselves proud, but who are actually only insecure and have a constant need for confirmation and approval from others, without even wondering what they actually offer them in return to deserve this. Generally, the most intelligent people are the first to give in to resentment by bringing peace and managing to save relationships with loved ones. Number 8. Not having traveled when you had the chance. How many times have I mentioned this in my videos? Too many times. There are things you can't just learn in school or at home. Traveling is one of the best things a person can do to open their minds, their horizons, and to learn to live with other cultures, learning from them and opening up to new ideas and new ways of life. And even better, if you have the opportunity to travel alone, this forces you to interact with strangers. Personally, when I talk to a stranger, I understand very quickly if the person I have in front of me is accustomed to traveling or not. Those who travel very rarely hate others, but rather learn to appreciate their diversity and to see life from different perspectives. By doing so, you'll be able to see your own life from a completely different perspective, not limited to what has been indoctrinated in you in your hometown and group of close friends and acquaintances. Number 9. Paying too much attention to what people say. This topic has also been discussed many times in the videos you find on this channel. Don't pay attention to what most people say. They talk about you because they don't know what to say about their own often boring lives, or because they don't have much else to do. Listen to the opinions of the people whose opinion you value and from whom you can learn, but just don't care about the judgment of the masses. Always do what you feel like doing, obviously making sure that you don't harm others. People may know your name, but they probably don't know your story and shouldn't be judging your life in the first place. And for the record, you must know that people spend less time thinking about you and your life than you think they do. Remember, people have their own lives to focus on as well. Number 10. Be content with a mediocre life rather than aiming for an excellent life. Last on this list, but certainly not least, how many people made safe choices in their lives for convenience, for not wanting to fight for what they really wanted? How often do we see people in relationships apparently happy when, in reality, they both think they deserve better? People who have chosen a partner only for fear of being alone, but who have never fully loved each other. These couples can stay together for months or even years, but sooner or later, the grudge towards each other will grow to make their lives miserable. And the truth is, it's only their fault. The choice was made by themselves, and when you're not fully happy with someone, sooner or later those hidden feelings will come to the surface. This doesn't only happen in relationships, but also in professions, in friendships, and in many other everyday situations. Aim for the best and fight to conquer it. What about you? Do you have one or more of these regrets in your life? If you do, share your experience in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to push the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Also, don't forget to activate the notification bell. This way you'll be notified every time a new video is uploaded on the channel. Have a great day.